friend of mine changes her mind the whole time. One week, she's a writer, publishing her debut novel under a well-established publishing press. The next minute, she's a spoken word poet, performing in avant-garde cafes with dark lighting, her performance met with plenty of clicks. Before I know it, she's suddenly a musician. In fact, she's in a band. Fat Elizabeth, I think they're called. Something ridiculous like that. I'm a checkout girl. There's no avoiding that. And I'm under the impression that my job suits me. Obviously, I'm under some scrutiny. Just the other day, I sold a copy of a newspaper that I regularly write articles for. The customer buying the yoke didn't believe me. "You," she demanded. Well, I never. The arrogance. See, my problem is, I'm no better than that friend of mine. I daydream about art exhibitions while still wanting to publish a best-selling book. I can't make my mind up either. Although, my problem is, I'm too comfortable in the job I have already. I don't need to tell people what I've done or what I plan to do. They know I work 48 hours a day and barely have a minute to sniff. I'm happy, and I'm happy being happy. For the moment. Maybe I am too comfortable. In our store, we have 3 large wooden doors. The one furthest away is the bathroom. The one to the right is some sort of an office I don't think I've ever been in. The middle one is where I'd go if I wanted a day or a weekend off. The only time I talk about myself, and feel free to do so. I'm trying to get the Sunday shift off. It should be easy enough. I hate working 4 hours. I'd take an 11-hour shift any day. Even if it feels as though I'm waiting the whole day for a break or lunch. Still, the 4 hours tends to drag. Okay, well, the real reason I want the day off is because I have an exhibition the following day. Now, none of my art is on show. I'm just wanting to go and see what I'm up against. I'm not so sure about this Dublin crowd. They don't really get me. Not that they don't get my work. It's that none of them have a clue what I'm on about at the best of times. They pronounce art, ort. Mind you, they're not half as bad as the Wexford crowd. I was seeing one member of the various people in the various artsy circles in this town. An artist. Real bohemian type of lad. The one problem about this type, and by this type I mean artists that don't work in supermarkets, is that they take their art to heart, if you get me. I swear, if I made a constructive criticism about his work, he wouldn't talk to me for a week. I remember telling Mary at work about him. You should hear her. "We may get you a man," Mary tells me. I tell her that I'd be too busy for a man, and I after being up at work since 8 this morning. She tells me I should make time. "What was wrong with that fella you used to meet at Green Acres?" "Oh, you had to watch your words with him." "I wouldn't be into that at all," she says. Then she tells me that she has a few available men in our supermarket, asking me have I an interest in any of them. I look towards John. John's this new lad. I know for a fact all the women are after him. "Anyone but John," she yells. According to her, he's married with a child. God knows how she found that out, I think, until she tells me she went up to him and asked him. She claims I have the oddest taste. Not just in men, but customers. She's always catching me chatting to old fellas. You know, one of them owl lads once told me that back in his day, it was so-called bad manners to call a customer hun or dear. It was always sir or madame. Hun or dear, my 2 go-tos. That same man told me that I'd never make it in the arts world with my attitude. He suggested I tone it down a bit. In fairness, this was after I told him to F off. "Maybe I should calm down," he suggested. "All right, hun," I replied. There's this professor that shops with us. He's a fluent Irish speaker. He prefers to speak Irish. Customers and staff give me some look when I talk to him. I do be chatting away to him. It's as though they're amazed I've the brain span for it. Little do they know, I've also learned Polish, just to understand what some of my colleagues are saying at the till. Yeah. I like to watch the artists in town. Sometimes I even serve them on my till. They walk straight past me. It makes sense, really. There's this one woman with a gallery down the street. Whenever I see her talking to someone, it's always another unique person. Dreadlocks, Doc Martens, dressed like a goth. All she sees when she looks at me is someone who scans the wine she drinks. I wouldn't mind, but I met her once at a book launch when I was out of my uniform and she chatted away to me. She thinks that someone like me wouldn't understand her. They all think that.